As fast as you can possibly go with your car through a certain section of Mulholland. And with that car, pushing it to its absolute limit, hopefully be able to outpush the person you're racing against.
It was an interesting looking CHP car, and the guy got in it and he had a little helmet, he put it on, cruising through, you know.
Roll bar and everything?
Yeah, it was a 4-speed too.
Were you impressed?
A little bit, I really was, you know, because I haven't seen a cop go that fast up here. And we were just watching him, you know, and the guy was picking some okay lines, and the next thing you know, he just wrapped it into the telephone pole.
I started out in a little Honda car. It had 40 horsepower. It was the slowest thing on the road, but it handled like a little go-kart. So going down, I could do okay. I get beat every time, but I could race everybody, and I was new, and I was making a little name for myself because I was a little crazy kid in the Honda car. And then I got a Pinto that was fully set up. Everyone thought I was going to die in that because I was crazy in those little cars. Then I got this car with some power, which I ended up crashing racing a Porsche after about 4 months. But I got really good driving that thing. Then I got my Z28, it was a 69. That thing hauled buns. And then I started never getting beat. Nobody took me. Yep. Can't really say that I was the actual king of the hill. I've got a friend that's got a race car, a Porsche race car. And he'd only bring his car out once every 6 months. And we never raced. We just squirrel around.
I love this car. It's like my baby. I put 2 years of constant hard work and careful attention to detail to every small little aspect of the car that has become like a part of me. And I love it like we're a member of my family. I learned how to speak German in school so that I could go over to the factory and learn all of the important factory setups so that the car would really perform at its best through this particular stretch of Mulholland Drive. The engine is a high compression, European, mechanically injected, 2.8 RSR motor, develops about 300 horsepower at 8,000 RPM. With a car weighing almost 2,000 pounds, that makes for a rather good power to weight ratio. In this car, when you're going flat out, it's like floating. I average about 90 miles an hour, and that's going in the straightaways at about 135, and in the corners, the hairpins at about 65 to 60 miles an hour. There's actually very few competitive cars. There's a guy named Charlie, who's about 35 years old. He's been racing Mulholland for 15, 20 years. He's got a custom-built Vet. That's his baby, too. And he races that. Although he hasn't been up recently, I'm sure that someday we'll meet. There's also a Turbo Camaro, and there's a yellow Lola. And these are the cars that really would give me some competition, if any, on Mulholland Drive.
And what's it feel like?
It can't be explained. You have to be in the car, slowing down as fast as you possibly can, not knowing whether the car is just going to slide off the hill, if you hit water or anything. The unknown is what's really scary. The police cars couldn't really keep up with us at all. They didn't know the road as well as we did. They didn't know where we were going. Or they could just chase me around. I'd just play tag with them. Then I started running into the helicopter a lot, and he was my biggest problem. And I had to lose him within 2 minutes or 3 minutes and have them have no idea where I was. Otherwise, the helicopter could just find me with their lights.
Cut! Background, we're free! Let's, check the old cameras here. You were very good. Good for you? Yeah, I was taking that one. Sure. Print it, though. Print it.
Oh, this one was just run through the spin.
Steve, one more, same thing. One more, same thing, yeah.
Don't refer to them. Just share the moment between yourselves, you know?
Right. Okay.
Don't worry about that, because this is all going to be covered in here.
Exactly.
They'll see your faces clearly from when we shoot the reverse.
The Mulholland had always been a part of my life. I mean, when you were young, you went up to Mulholland to drive, to let out steam. You could go up there and test your 49 Ford against the mountain. The easy thing to do is to make a crash and burn movie. You know, you do X number of dollars at the box office, and the accountants would be thrilled. But that isn't something that I really want to do, nor did the producers of this movie. So we look for some very serious themes. Basically, it's a film about transition. It's a rite of passage.
The kids that really race Mulholland were talking last night about going over the edge and crashing and so.
The lieutenant said you used to run Mulholland yourself, Dennis, is that right?
Yeah, Jimmy Dean and I used to race Mulholland. We weren't choosing anybody off or anything, we were just trying to learn how to drive. Because that time, sports car driving was just starting. The Unsers and Andretti and Phil Hill and all those guys were just starting out at this place out called 20th Century Ranch. They used to race out there in Palm Springs and Riverside, but just barely starting, small crowds. Dean was really great. So was Steve. Steve was much later. But Mulholland was really the only thing that resembled the racetrack at that time.
Okay.
Cars and speed.
There's Cal.
He's back.
That looks fabulous. Well, both cars just sat up on wheels, we're looking for road. This is so much.
Well, Dennis Hopper plays a character who was burned out and blown out in the 60s. He was a racer. He was king of the mountain. He was the best. And
Ready.
our character, Steve, surpasses Cal's best time. And Cal comes down to challenge. The race is a dogfight between a high-powered Corvette and a very well put-together Porsche. And it's a dawn race, which quite frankly is very exciting. But it also is the rite of passage for our leading man, Steve, who in the course of the race realizes that he's in danger of becoming Cal.
Why did you race?
The thrill, the excitement, the agony of defeat, the thrill of victory, all those kind of things. It gets the adrenaline going. It's an addiction to adrenaline.
Why do you race?
Well, for the thrill mostly. Because to race and be fast and conquer the road and conquer death at the same time, actually cheating death out of winning out and getting you, you're taking control and you're able to do something that many other people are not able to do.
It's all real exciting, every one of them. It's hard to say that none of them aren't, because there's always that possibility of something going wrong. But it's all, that's why we do it mainly, is for that excitement. At this particular point in the film, this car slides out on a turn and hits a big, huge gas main. And the point of impact, the rear end of this car explodes from the gas main and the gas tank back here. What's supposed to happen here is there's several pellet guns in here that will be fired to break this glass when a huge naphthalene bomb and gas is going to explode out the back window. 2 of them are going to go out the side windows. At the same time, it's going to blow this trunk up, and 2 huge bombs are going to come out of here. One's going to shoot through the floorboard, and hopefully what we're going to get is a huge gas flame coming out of here, and there's a mortar in here that's going to shoot a big gas flame out there, so at night it should be really visible and believable.
All right, that's good. He's safe there. No pan right into that. That's fine.
What does Noah want? How many seconds?
I think Noah wants as much as he can. I told Noel not to say cut until he's happy, and if anything goes wrong, you'll cut it, and we'll run in.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. David, the usual way.
Yeah. They give you the fire stunt, you do the sport, the contest, either you win or you lose. If I thought that I was gonna get killed, I hope that I'm smart enough to know that I wouldn't do it.
30, 40 seconds is enough. I know he can be in there for 3 minutes, but we'll get him out right away.
Well, the only thing is, if he gets in trouble and he gets...
Bring him out. It's not,
well,
he doesn't have
but
to be
it's
in
going to be a lot of smoke in there, and we won't be able to see him per se. So if you want to give him a count of a slow 15, and then we go in and get him. So 15 gives you 30 seconds.
Let's do that then.
Not ready to rehearse?
200.
Please, let's clear the road, please.
Clear the road. Stand by for rehearsal, please. So it should be a rehearsal, okay, and a go.
All right, Buddy Joe can drive the car down now if he's ready.
Hey, rehearsing. Stand by, please.
Is there anybody who has any problems with this? Anybody want to change anything before we shoot?
Kim, you're rolling the camera, then you're running, right?
Okay, folks, everyone step away from the camera. Get down, please. Very quiet, please. Absolutely quiet. Nobody move to the car. Only David Ellis and his crew moves to the car. Cameras, I want to hear speed 3 times when we do this, okay? Nice and loud, please. Roll!
Speed. 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 Yeah, whenever you're ready, David. Get the ambulance, Bob.
Ambulance, please. Ambulance up, please.
I got him.
I get my reward when I do it, and the people that appreciate it, and it's like being on stage when we're on the set, when we're doing a stunt that's really heavy. I mean, it's you got it for that moment. And to me, that's one of the important parts of it, the money, but it goes. You get a few pictures of what you do to show people later. But, you know, it's that instant thrill and reaction that you get that's important. Where I have been with stunt work is that I'm constantly wanting to do superior feats. I don't want to just do regular stuff. I'm always looking to do something radical. But sometimes you're in a position where there is a heavy risk, but you're into it so much that you want to do it. To me, that's what it's all about. You do a heavy stunt with a lot of risk and you do it, well then you're a bad mother. I mean, you know, then you did it.
Yes, and winning is important. And that's what it's all about. Being better than the other guy, being faster than the next guy. And if you can do that, then you're king of the hill.
So 6 months ago, well, actually about 8 months ago, and I got in a big chase in a friend of mine's car. It was a Z28, and I had a few people in the car, and it was in the valley, so there was no hills to go hide it, and I happened to fly by the police station really fast, and they ended up catching me, and they beat me up, and so then I'm still on probation for that now. I had to pay a $400 fine, and so I had to kind of give up. Yeah, I had to grow up right there, bam. Time to grow up, John.
Charlie has been the king of the hill for probably 15 years. But who's to say? I've never raced him. If Charlie was out and my car was running good, I'd go for it.
Yabo!
Must be a four-cylinder.
Go get him, Javelin.
What's going on?
We'll see it like that LTD was in the tree that one night. Oh, here he goes.
Mr. Javelin.
All right, Javelin.
That's only Mark's second night up here racing the Camaro.
What the hell's this?
How to be in the movie? Maybe a crash.
Hey, go down there and try to chase him. He's on the other side of the road. Thanks.
No, we got one down.
Got one down.
You guys gonna go down there?
What happened?
Car went over.
Where?
Go on the other side of the fire.
On the other side. You can see the girl and everything. Right down the hill.
It's Renault 1.8 with a claw top, and they got thrown out of the cars. The car went over and rolled. And what they told a friend of mine who was sitting over here is that they said the brakes failed. And he said they were doing about 40 and pitched it sideways and just slid all the way over down the side. They were down there about 20 minutes before they finally decided they wanted them to call the ambulance and all, and the fire department. They were trying to make up their minds whether they could stop the bleeding themselves or not.
The other is ambulatory, but one is possible factory too, so we're going to need some help with that.
Roger, 97, we'll be there shortly. Truck 60's right behind us also.
Roger.
We'll pull on the line and these guys can help it up.
Very good.
That's right. If everyone was dying, no one would race. It's not that dangerous. It is dangerous, but you know, people aren't dropping like flies. Maybe 2 a year, 3 a year die.